Hello, RMHS's family. It's a privilege that we can get together to talk about cleanliness and hygiene. I want to begin my talk by a short quotation that has been given to us by Benjamin Disraeli, and I think it's very important for us in our situation today. It says, cleanliness and order are not matters of instinct, they are matters of education. And like most great things, you must cultivate a taste for them. You see, cleanliness it just doesn't come. In our society, we find people they are not so keen on cleanliness. We just don't maintain the hygiene that we are supposed to maintain. Just for a simple example, I'd like to give: when we buy a packet of chips and we eat it, after we finish that eating that chips and we have that empty packet in our hands, we just throw it on the road. We don't look for a proper disposable area or a proper dustbin where we can dispose that packet. And this morning I'm going to talk about something that is very important: to dispose our garbage, to keep ourselves clean, because we know it does not come by chance unless we have an interest or an instinct to keep ourselves happy and hygiene. Now, hygiene and happiness and cleanliness is very clearly connected. First, I would like to tell you what hygiene is. Hygiene is maintaining yourself properly, personal cleanliness, which involves taking a bath every day, trimming your nails and hair and keeping them clean, wearing clean clothes, drinking clean water, keeping your surroundings area clean. That is called cleanliness, being clean personally. Hygiene is where we maintain that hygiene around us. Now, the simple fact can be, when we bring vegetables and fruits from the market, we need to wash them because they are exposed to a lot of pesticides and dust. We need to wash them, clean them, and then use it. Before we eat, most of us don't even care to wash our hands, and that's where most of the diseases enter. Drinking water, for example, is one of the areas where it is most concerned nowadays. Now, we talk about a time when we could drink any just water anywhere. That was okay, that was fine, because at that time it was not so much pollution was not there. But today we cannot do that because pollution is rampant, and the drinking water that we have is not clean. Most of the people don't have access to clean drinking water, but they want to have. Some of us have access to clean drinking water, but we are careless. And so this morning we would like to educate each one of you to maintain that personal hygiene, maintain cleanliness in and around us, in our environment, so that would lead us to a healthy life and also to a happy life. Because health and hygiene and cleanliness is something that we most often ignore. And this today, because we have so many diseases, and the most rampant, which is coronavirus or COVID-19, is because we fail to maintain that healthiness and that cleanliness around us. The first thing that I would like to talk about is the importance of washing our hands. Now, in the market we have the common soap that we use, a very important thing that we use. We use it to wash our bodies, to take bath. But when it comes to washing our hands, just to wash our hands, we ignore this soap. This soap is very important, not only just to wash our bodies, but just for the simple ritual of washing our hands. We need to use this to wash it. Now, soap contains many chemicals, that's right, but those chemicals are beneficial, and that's why they are there in that soap. That's why it has. And this soap, if you look at the soap, it is approved by the medical standards of the government, because it helps us to maintain that hygiene, to wash our bodies, and that cleanliness, to wash our hands. And so we need to wash our hands before every meal, because you see, when we are doing our daily activities, we touch a lot of things here and there. We come in contact with a lot of people, we touch their hands, we touch their other things. Now these things are not clean, and when we eat food, or we just by mistakenly sometimes we put our hands into our mouth, touch our nose or so on, and these are the entry points for the germs into our bodies. And that's why it is very frequently that we are requested that, at least if not frequently, before we sit down to have a meal or to eat something, we must wash our hands using soap, and we must wash it properly at least for 2 to 5 seconds. Then wash. That would make our hands clean and prevent the germs from entering our body systems. Now sometimes it is not possible every time that we have a soap handy to wash our hands and to keep our hands clean, and that's why it is recommended that we have sanitizers. You see, hand sanitizers, just a small bottle. We don't need to carry a big bottle. A small bottle can fit into a lady's purse, the student bag. Nowadays, some of the hand sanitizers, they come with attachments that can be hung in the loop of our belt pant pockets. So we can carry these sanitizers, and these sanitizers are very healthy because we are not accessible to soap everywhere. And that's where we just have these sanitizers, where we take a drop of the sanitizer into our hands, a drop or two, and then we rub them. When we rub it vigorously in our hands, these sanitizers contain cleaning agents. Our hands are clean, and we can use that our hands to eat and do other things. That's why it says we must use sanitizers vigorously. The next thing that we want to talk about is social distancing, very necessary during this time of coronavirus, this pandemic. Now, social distancing does not mean that we are separated or we don't keep contact at all. It is actually called physical distancing, that is to break the chain of the spread of the virus. We can still be in contact through our telephone and other devices. We can mentally also just remember somebody. But physical distancing that we say is very necessary. Why? Because this virus that we have spreads rapidly when we come in contact with an infected person. Now we don't know, or the other person also may not know that he or she is affected by the virus. But when we come in contact with an affected person who is affected by this virus, the virus is transmitted by touching, through touch. And that helps in the spread. And that's why the government has prescribed in its health standards that to avoid public places. Because when we go to a public places, there is pushing, there is pulling, we can't come in contact with people and we don't know, and then that's how the virus spreads. Even where people are allowed, sometimes we find that they are told to maintain distance. That distance helps to maintain that we don't touch each other, we don't come in contact with each other, and that helps to spread the virus. It is just like a forest fire that we have. I'd just like to give you, in closing, a small example. Forest fire. The fire in the forest spreads because the trees are close together. When one tree catches a fire, the other tree automatically catches fire because they're close together. And then to spread that, stop that spread of that fire, forest fire, what do the people do? They make a fire line, or they eliminate some of the trees that are which are prone to catch fire, or they remove them, they cut them down so that the fire does not spread ahead, because the trees are close together. And when they do that, that forest fire is controlled. It does not spread. That is the same technique the government, or we must use. We must be very careful Unnecessarily, why go to places where we are not supposed to go? If possible, avoid crowd, avoid gatherings, and then keep a distance. Sometimes keeping distance, people feel that they are separate. No, it's not that. Keep a distance just to keep yourself safe. People understand that it is a time when this sickness is very rampant, and to maintain and to keep each of one of us safe, we need to maintain that surface. Greeting can just be a small namaste, and that can be done while keeping distance. That will convey a lot of message. That distance will help spread the virus, that coronavirus that we are there. And it is very necessary we do that in our schools, we do that in our homes, so that each one of us can be safe. When this says, when each one of us practices this health and hygiene protocols or these principles, each one of us individually does that, we can help save a larger community. We can help save a bigger spread of the pandemic. It does not mean that it is not my job. It is everybody's job. It is our job. And when we do that together collectively, we will surely make a bigger impact in our society. Thank you one and all, and we hope that we stay safe, stay masked up, and keep ourselves safe. Jai Hind, Namaste.